God, yeah. Dude, I was selling shit on Facebook Marketplace and this fool asked me out.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another solo episode of Throwing Tantrums. Today we got Amanda Carmassi. Am I saying that right?
Carmassi.
Carmassi. So, Italian. So, yeah. What do you call it? Today we're going to be prying, asking questions, personal questions that trigger her. And I'm just kidding. We're going to get to know her a little bit today. That's the purpose of these solo episodes, to get to know the dancers beyond the dance, beyond the reaction videos, beyond the group podcasts, because, you know, these people have depth. You know, they're not just movers. They just don't do moves. So, yeah, we're going to get a little bit of the origin story and like a little bit about her. And hopefully throughout this podcast, you can see like, you know, from a lot of these, I'm actually learning the different backgrounds and how people get there, and hopefully inspires you to get started in your own, whether it's dance or passion. So that's really the intent. Okay, so I'm going to let Amanda introduce yourself real quick, a little bit of what you've done, and then we'll go into the origin story.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Amanda Carmassi.
Carmassi.
And I have been dancing since I was 2 years old. When I danced with my teddy bear. From there, I started taking classes in Mill Valley, that's in the Bay Area. And then I went to college and was on my college dance team.
Which college?
A college that you've never heard of before, called Azusa Pacific University.
I know it is, but it's...
Yeah, I like to sometimes I tell people I went to Citrus because I think the people there were hotter and also cooler.
Okay.
So I'm going to change my, I went to Citrus. I graduated from Citrus College in Azusa. And then I joined some dance teams, and then I was in like some low budget but very awesome music videos. And then now here I am running my own little dance team.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to go and talk about her dance team, and because with kids, which I think is super freaking awesome. So props to you. Like, you know what I'm excited for you to experience? I don't know if you have already, is when the kids come back to you later on in life, when they're teenagers or adults, and they tell you how much you've impacted them. Like,
I've only had one of those, and it was like life-changing.
It's crazy, right? It's almost like it's one of those rewards you don't get to experience until later.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
long game.
So yeah, going into the origin story. I know you gave like a brief 10,000 foot view about it. So like, when did you actually start going into, I guess, actual classes, or when did you start actually trying to pursue it?
Yeah, so I was on my college dance team, which was like a ministry team. So we weren't, but we had a lot of soul and we had a lot of purpose. And so from there, we kind of like rebranded. We went from rehearsing like once a week to multiple times a week.
Oh, wow.
There was also like some racist bullshit happening on the campus. So
shit.
when I got called into the office a lot my first year as like the director or the head of the team, just because like people, like white people would walk by the group and I guess assume we shouldn't be there.
Whoa.
Hip hop and see people of color and be offended. So I was called in like many times that I didn't even tell the team about, you know, to report us. And then I had to bring in the lyrics to all of our music and prove that it was clean lyrics and
wow,
prove that we were allowed to be there. We had been there for like 8 to 11 years at that point. The team had existed. So
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. So it was a lot of that. But as the team started growing and we started rehearsing more, and then like really, really good, like committed people with a lot more training and experience than I had, like came on board, then we all like got hella good.
Oh, nice. So was it you running the team early on?
Yeah, it was like, I kind of like joined, and then they had me choreograph my sophomore year.
Yeah.
I put on an event called Hip Hop for Freedom, which they still do. It's an annual event to raise awareness about human trafficking.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a cool event. Like we invite like nonprofits and stuff to come in, and people can get to know more about the nonprofits who work with these populations and how to help. Yeah. But yeah, so they had me choreograph my sophomore year, And that was really nice. I'm pretty sure that's the first time the team had ever done dynamics before.
What do you mean dynamics?
Like, I'm pretty sure they all had just all moved at the same time.
Like ripples or different angles.
Yeah, we did like a ripple, and everyone was like, wow. So that's where we were. And then, and then more people like, with more experience kind of joined in, and they were like hella dope and like choreographed like super cool shit. And like I was helping too, and I was kind of leading, and then they were doing all the back-breaking choreography labor. I choreographed a little bit as well. And I kind of coordinated all our performances. And our first shows were like, I used to get like invited, like people would hit me up because I'm the leader.
Yeah.
And they would be like, hey, I'm not faking this. They'd be like, hey, do you want to perform like on the mud football field after the mud football game?
What? How'd you...
No, like, we're not going to break our ankles to dance for you. I clarified multiple times. It was one of the longest email chains I had ever had with regards to a performance, because I kept clarifying. I kept being like, waiting for them to be like, oh, you're right. This doesn't make sense. So like, it was a very long sequence of emails where I was like, so you want us to perform on slippery mud? Thank you, Amanda. We responded, we were like, yes, just right in the middle of the muddy football field. And I said, so just to clarify, you want us to perform on slippery mud rather than on concrete, which would be safer. And then they were like, yeah, we think it would be cool if you guys were right in the center of the field. So I said,
they're not getting the danger. They don't get it.
So I said, okay, wouldn't it make more sense to perform on concrete? That way we wouldn't break our ankles or dirty up our costumes. And the person was like, yeah, we'd really love for you to perform on the mud football field.
Oh my gosh. It's like you're dropping hints. Oh, they didn't like over the head.
No.
Yep.
And then the team started getting really like more popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started getting like much more reasonable opportunities and like creating our own opportunities, our own shows and all this kind of cool stuff.
Nice. Yeah, because the whole mud football thing, you just reminded me of like this one time fambiz was invited. This was a long time ago. I'd say like 2000.
Fambiz.
Excuse me. Around 2007, we were invited to do a porn. They were looking for. It was a very shy guy that called me. Like we were at a bar, and we were all. And then I get a call from this random number, and I just, for some reason, it said answer, even though I didn't know. I picked it up. It was a very shy guy, very soft spoken. I was like, "Hi, can I speak to the director of?" We were called ESUI back then, but like I'm just gonna say fambiz just to keep it easy. Like, can I speak to the director of fambiz? And I was like, who the fuck is calling me around? It sounds creepy, and like, why am I talking to this person? But then he said like, yeah, we're looking for you guys because we want you to perform because we're looking for strong guys for our cheerleading shoot. So yeah, so I was like, yeah, we're gonna need them to learn like some cheering. Are they comfortable wearing cheerleading outfits, like the male cheerleader stuff? And then I was like, yeah, that should be fine. Off the top of my head, because I don't think I'm as strong as some of the other dudes. So I was like, yeah, I got a couple guys in my head. And then he's like, okay. And then he goes to this part. He's like, okay, how comfortable would they be, with the sex acts? I'm like, what?
Wow.
What?
He snuck it in.
Yeah, and he was
already we're in conversation.
Yeah, the thing is like they were specifically looking for dudes. So like, and the pay was ridiculous though, like $3,000 per shoot.
Did you do it?
No.
Where do I watch it?
It is none of us ever. Like in my head, I was like, this sounds really good financially. But in my head, I was just thinking about branding. I don't want to be the team that did the porn.
Yeah, but you do enough of them, you got enough money to rebrand however you want.
Yeah, I didn't looking back at it. I think it would have been an interesting opportunity. Oh my gosh!
You could have shown it to your kids someday.
Yeah. Oh, shut up.
This is what Daddy used to do.
Yeah. There's a lot of money, but yeah, it was like. I realized it wasn't until like a few days later I realized, oh, I could have just sent the guys out to do it on their own and without.
Rather than it being the company.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh well, lost it. But yeah, because the guy was like, it's an old porn company. I don't know if they still exist, but they're called Vivid Entertainment. So any of you guys who used to watch porn in the 2000s, you guys would know. But yeah, I mean that's probably one of the weirdest ones. But so
way worse.
Yeah,
way worse.
So when you joined the team, it came from like small, and then you took over. Like were you just thrust into the leadership, or you wanted the leadership?
Yeah, I did want it, but then I couldn't do anything on my own. I had to learn a lot about leadership. You know what I mean? Because it's like all my ideas are great, but it takes so many people to create something beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I can have all the ideas. Okay, we're going to do this. And okay, we're going to do that. And okay, we're going to do this. Right? Because I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know what we look like to the administration. I know that they're this close to taking away our privileges.
Whoa.
So it's like I have that going on in the background. But it's like you have to let people create. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, all right, you're going to do this. And then people stepped up. People just sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as soon, like the team started getting like pretty good. We were practicing more. So obviously we got better.
Yeah, that's cool.
And and then so many talented people just kind of like came in and like we started making concept videos. So we would have like, it was so sweet. Like we would have like for Hip Hop for Freedom, for example, we had like these videos playing, like we made concept videos. Yeah. And then the video would end and we'd come on stage and we'd dance, like, you know what I mean?
Just like to continue the story in a sense.
Yeah. And then we would leave and then something else would come up and it would be like, everything would make sense. It was like a full story.
That's tight.
Yeah. It was really beautiful. So just a lot of cool people just sort of like came in.
What aspect of leadership do you think like you felt like you had to learn the hard way?
How to say no to people.
Oh, that's an important one. Yeah.
Yeah. We had some stuff going on. Like we had people, I gave a little too much freedom to certain choreographers. Yeah. So I had to kind of rein that in a little bit. And then I feel like I allowed for a time, you know, certain individuals, one in particular, who was incredibly toxic.
Oh, I can relate to that. Yeah.
And I had multiple people coming up to me like, hey, I hate to do this. Like, I love dancing so much, but I have to quit the team. Like so many people came up to me like that. And I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, well, this person, I'll call them Karen.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
For these times.
They'd be like, well, Karen told me that like basically like everyone was talking about me and like said I wasn't good enough to be here. And like, I feel like Karen's the only one who believes in me. And like, it just sucks. Like, I hate like that no one wants me here. And I just feel like I gotta leave. And you know, it's okay though. It's okay. Like, I'm okay. And I was like, that's not okay. That's not okay. No one was saying anything. It was totally fabricated.
Manipulating them into thinking, wow.
Which is what it makes you do. They make you feel like I'm the only one who values you. It was that thing. And I was just like, you are amazing. Here's all the things I've heard people say about you when you're not around. And I would just list all the very true things that, you know, are lovely compliments that people would say about these people to get them back dancing with them.
How did you handle that, the toxic person? Did you like sit them down, just like not take them in for the next audition? I feel like that would be the best passive aggressive way to go about it.
I know. Thankfully, it kind of worked out because they had wrote on their next audition, they had wrote like, oh, like might be pretty busy with my major and da-da-da. And so then I was like, you know what? You guys, she's our friend. We have to respect her. We really want her to do well in school. I think we have to make this hard call. Like, I don't think she can get more. And everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. So thank God she wrote that shit down on her paper. Woo. Who knows where we would be. But yeah, I had to learn, like, you know, like building a team is like it's so different than just
being a dancer.
Like, yeah, like just being a dancer or just going to gigs as an individual. It's like a team is a whole different concept. Like you have to all understand why you're there, especially because like you're not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Like on a school dance team, like typically you're not making money on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have to all understand like what you love about dance and why you're there and what your purpose is, and you have to like establish what's okay and not okay.
Yeah.
So I'm learning that.
Yeah. I mean, I love hearing other leaders talk about their experiences as a director, because it's like it really is different. Because the way I can to it, me being a parent, is like you're going from the child to the older sibling to the parent.
Yeah.
So the amount of responsibility, and then the egos you have to keep in check. You have to keep everyone motivated to be part of the vision. So
yeah, absolutely. And then just like in terms of picking, like for you, it's probably different because your company is your company, but like, or maybe you've experienced it on other teams, like when you have to kind of pick your leaders who are to follow.
Oh, like to
pass on the leadership role, so to speak.
To pass on. When I was leading fambiz, like I was forced, in a sense, not forced, but I had to leave. And I had to give it to, I don't know if you met Mark, but my friend Mark, to take on the role. Most of the time I never left because I had a huge fear of me. If I left, would it fall apart? And then when Jordan came into the picture, obviously I couldn't do late night rehearsals anymore because I had to focus on being a dad. So once I left, I needed to pass it down so I could be the dad I wanted to be. So it was scary for me because for me it's a huge control thing. Like I like having the final say.
Totally.
But yeah, it honestly was relieving to know that I didn't have to do everything and it was doing well on its own. The part I didn't like or don't like is that as the leader changes, the vision changes. So the team that I left with is no longer the team that is what it is today. Yeah. So that's something I needed to be okay with, which is, like it sucks, but I'm glad it's still there. It still captures the same values that I wanted it to have. For me, again, being a control freak, it was just not the way I wanted it because I'm a fucking control freak. So, but yeah, and which is relating to you and how about building a team. I was honestly hesitant in building Temper Tantrum or starting it to begin with because you know how hard it is to go from the ground up. So it's like, for me, it's like, do I want to do it again? But then like everyone like who had done the City Walk performances, they said like they wanted to make it a company. And like for me, I'm like, you could be down, but you could be one of those people that are just talking and then you bounce. So
it makes so much sense though. Because I remember like I hadn't messaged you in forever. And then I saw like one of your guys' like City Walk things.
Uh-huh.
And I like felt like an energy, you know what I mean? Like this like good positive energy from the piece. And I was like, the fuck is this? I messaged you, I was like, me. And you were like, yeah, okay, whatever, yeah. But it makes sense. Because it's like when something clicks and when you have the experience that you have and you have the failings that you have and you have like, more refined purpose, I feel like the right people just sort of like...
Yeah, and I'm grateful for that. And like, I honestly was surprised that you messaged me, because up until that point, and like I've shared this story many times, like on different podcasts and like off IRL meetings, I was surprised that Amanda messaged me because our first gig together, I burped into her mouth.
Like literally.
Like we were like
into all of these orifices.
Yeah. Ooh, shit.
Posing for a photo.
Yeah, we were zombies. So, and it was for like an event like El Loria or something like that. And then we were like posing as zombies.
I considered hitting him in the face. I considered it.
I could have, like in my memory, I think you did. Like, did she hit me? Like, yeah.
No, it was all a blur.
Because I just remember feeling so like not triggered in a sense of like, oh shit, I hurt. I quote unquote hurt someone or insulted you by by my burp, and I don't like hurting people, so I was like, damn it, do I
Like,
apologize?
do I kill him? Like, do I just kill him?
Yeah, like I honestly didn't think you would ever want to see me again after that. Let alone, so I'm like grateful, like because I'm honestly like, what? Then you invited me to do your Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh, she doesn't hate me. Take me through your creative process, because I loved that like your idea of the of of the Harry Potter thing, like word, like how does it? It was cool. I'm not excuse me, much of a Potter fan. Or my girlfriend's gonna kill me, but yeah, like you apparently put me in the house, which I took a quiz for. It was, I think, Hufflepuff, which was all the lockers. So, but yeah, like how do you start even then or now? How do you plan your whole creative thing?
How that happened, and I'm actually very proud of it, except for all the parts that are super awkward, aka the parts with me in them. But what I loved about that is I got to like sort of experience on my own what it was to like think of dance styles as a character, because I had been kind of experiencing that a little bit on like at the time, like with the 4 dance crew.
Oh yeah.
So I was dancing like as a character, so it's never just choreography. There's always a story component.
Ah.
So that was kind of like my little foray into like figuring out what that means, like how to dance and embody a character. So it's like a Gryffindor. Gryffindor is like Leo energy, swaggy, like kind of like if I was in Gryffindor, like I would be doing like this a lot. Like you can't see, but my butt's moving. Like yeah, boom, like a little powerful, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the energy, like sassy, powerful.
I can see that. Yeah, you definitely embody that.
And it was so weird because I was like so camera shy, and I had never organized anything like that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I had just like 1,000 people in my house, all expecting things to go well, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Too big. It's like that's very like typical of me and Chanel, who like me and Chanel. She's my friend. She like directed. It's very typical of us to go like way too hard.
Dude, if that was your first time, I didn't know. I just thought, because it was going late, I was like, typical production shoot, running late, whatever.
Yeah. And, so and dance stuff is so different than film stuff. That's what I learned too. Like the expectations of dancers, especially dancers who are not industry dancers, is very different than like actors. Like actors assume like, okay, what kind of day is it? 8-hour day, 10-hour day, 12-hour day. They like understand that you need to get shots from like 25,000 angles.
Yeah.
They understand that, okay, we're going to adjust the lighting here. Okay, we're going to modify that. Like they understand that.
Angel lens, yeah.
But dancers, like, I feel like the expectation and my lack of experience was like not helpful. Because I should have been like, it's going to be 24 hours.
Oh yeah, because when I left, you guys were still shooting, I think, right?
Yeah, we shot until so late, but it was okay because there weren't that many of us at the end. There was only like 2 people left at the end. But yeah, so Gryffindor, I was like, and then Ravenclaw. I don't know why, but I just felt like I had just been learning whacking, and it felt like very like precise and very clever to me. Like whacking, like just feels like it's that energy, but it also feels so sharp.
Yeah.
So it felt like, okay, like that's Ravenclaw. Because Ravenclaw is the smarty smarts.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Slytherin, we did like ISOs and like waving and like and stuff because it just like made sense to me because they're very calculated.
Oh.
Slytherins, they're very ambitious and they'll like make sure that some shit is gonna benefit them before they fucking do that shit. So they're not like out here doing the most. They're like doing the least to get the most.
Oh,
so like
makes sense.
ISOs popping, little waves, and then and then you. The puffs. Yeah, the puffs was like locking because locking. It's like fun.
Yeah.
It's happy. Yeah, that was a good experience. Like I felt like I learned a lot as a choreographer and a lot as a producer about. I don't do that shit no more. if we're going to have that many lighting changes, we are going to have at least 2 other people working those lights, because those lights were hot. Chanel she had those fucking gloves on. She was like lifting heavy shit, like all these sandbags and like,
yeah, dude.
And then she'd have to she'd have to run back, look at the camera.
Was it just her?
Yeah.
You have like an 80. Oh wow.
Because I didn't know how to do any lighting shit whatsoever.
Dang, respect.
She had like 7 hats on. So then she'd run and she'd look at the camera and be like, oh, and then run back in and then adjust the lighting. And then run back and then look.
Camera operator, director, DP, lighting.
The gaffer.
The gaffer, everything. My God.
All the things.
Respect to you too, man.
Yeah, she killed that shit.
Yeah.
So that was a lot for me because I'm like, she should not ever have to do that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that again. But I feel like the end product, like it visually looked really cool.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like in terms of lighting, like even though, you know, it's not as strong as some of the lighting stuff we've done since then, I feel like it's still, you know, it still makes sense. It still holds up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we did like a Voldemort.
Oh yeah, I left right when you guys were starting to film that.
Yeah, that's cute. I was balancing.
So, okay, you don't do like the crazy production stuff anymore. What kind of stuff do you like producing now?
Okay, I like doing shit that's like just me and Chanel, because it seems like if I'm gonna add other people in, I need to like know that they are getting value out of it and that I'm getting value out of it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's fair. Like, I personally don't like it when people ask me to do shit for them constantly for free. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And especially if it's not that close, it feels like you're just
some rando asking.
Yeah, it just feels like I just prefer. I feel like what I learned from that too, like even though like the video looked good and it was nice and you know we got it done, and those people are like homies for life because they like came through and did that. I feel like that was more. It was like me learning how to dance as a character, me learning how to choreograph, me learning how like production works, like what is production even, and it was sort of this like dive into learning production. And then as we've scaled it back, I'm like, okay, here's like the ideal scenario. Like everyone on set feels either is getting like paid enough to feel respected, or is there because they're also a collaborative partner, or, you know what I mean? Like I want every person there to feel respected and valued. You know, not that people didn't, because they were all friends and but like,
no, it was fun hanging out. Like I got to hang out with Eddie and NJ.
That's like my mentality is like, I just want it to be like better and better every time we do shit. So when it's like me and Chanel, we can do like shit that takes forever because we understand like shit takes a long time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then we're getting like so much stronger too. Like I feel like I have such a different perception now of production and how to like do dance and production together than I did then. Yeah. I'm a whole different person in terms of how I plan everything. So yeah, I have like so many thoughts about that, but yeah, I would say like my creative process was like hardly like the dancing part of it like was cool, but I feel like the lasting effects were like so much more about like relationships and collaboration and production and like what kind of things I want to create and why. Yeah. You know?
So it was definitely more like kind of like a ready, fire, aim kind of thing.
We dove all the way the fuck in.
Respect.
Let's have 25 people in the house.
You know, I'm surprised that your neighbors weren't mad or anything.
They're fine.
Yeah, so, well, if your area is kind of chill.
Especially at that time, neighbor had sex so loud every night.
Oh.
You can't complain at all.
Oh, okay. Okay. Respect.
It's since died down, but it's like they can't say nothing.
If you weren't dancing, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
Eating.
Did you start a mukbang channel?
Yeah, I was gonna be a teacher. Because that felt like a safe bet. And then I just veered completely off track and decided to commit all of my life energy to my school dance team. And then I was like, I like this better. I didn't become a teacher, and I majored in sociology instead. So I'm a feminazi, as my
Feminazi.
adversaries would call me. Feminazi and proud. Yeah, so studying sociology, I feel like it makes sense when you're dancing because you can kind of adapt a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to different situations.
Oh, okay.
Or I just say that to justify the fact that I have a degree that is completely useless.
Were your parents like supportive of you just focusing all your time in dance?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. No, not at all. Not even a little bit. No, it makes no sense. Like my sociology professors were like very interested in my family,
Mm-hmm.
especially in terms of like their view of me as a dancer and artistry in general.
Mm-hmm.
Money, because my family like makes no sense in terms of like their money trajectory makes no sense.
Uh-huh.
Your like where you are socioeconomically kind of determines how you feel about schooling and careers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like my parents grew up like very, very poor, right? So like my dad was the son of a grocery manager, and then my mom like grew up on a farm with 19 children.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm adopted. So I'm like barely, I'm like just all of a sudden there one day at the family.
Just show up in front of the door. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
showed up one day. They're like, I guess fine, come in. So, so it's like then my dad became like this famous rock star. He's a drummer.
Oh, wow.
So then he makes all this money, whatever, travels all over the world, right? And like that money was made through art,
Yeah.
right? Music. That's how they survived, right? That's how they paid bills.
Yeah.
They like don't perceive dance as a way of making money or paying bills.
Huh. But,
so it was just it's just like confusing talking to them. Like to this day, they're like, get a new job.
wow. And
I'm like,
But even though that's weird, interesting, because they made money off the arts, but they're telling you to stay away from it.
Yeah. They like don't think it's real or something. It's very strange.
It's
they want me to like have a career or a profession that looks like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, who even has a 9 to 5 anymore? No one. So I dance anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's growing up, I hear a lot of my friends' parents just discouraging the whole thing. It's like, you're not going to make anything after that anyways. Stop spending so much time on your hobby and focus on your job. Like, you know, especially like Asian parents in general, like, or parents who have a very, I guess, quote unquote, traditional view of the world, or even maybe old school, because, you know.
Yeah. Or like tradesmen is maybe another way of saying it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it sucks because it's like you see this thing that brings a person so much light and so much life in them, and then you see someone they love tearing it down, saying it's not worth anything. It's like you're literally watching someone's life be drained away, and they can't because it's either it's an authority figure, it's their parent, it's someone they love. So, and
did you feel like you were supported as a dancer?
Yeah, I feel like I was supported for the most part. Like as an artist, like I felt like I was supported, like starting maybe 5th grade, 4th grade. Like because I used to say I wanted to be a doctor, but then I discovered drawing comic books.
Oh.
And I was drawing Sonic the Hedgehog comic books, and I remember just getting into an argument with my mom about what I wanted to become, and I somehow it's like, it's my life, I get to be what I want. I was young.
That's a self-aware ass 4th grader.
Well, I mean, maybe middle school. I just know I was young, because, you know, timeline's getting super like mixed at this point. But I do remember having an argument with my mom, saying that I wanted to focus on being an artist, and then, you know, because 5th grade, my comic books were featured at the school library, so I was like, cool, I'm gonna pursue art. And then since then, my mom's always been supportive in me pursuing art or anything like that. She was like, you can be whatever you want to be as long as you get some sort of degree. Because it's like that. I guess for her, she's an immigrant coming here. The whole point was to give us a better chance. And I guess the degree would be some sort of proof of concept. Like, see, like my kids made it in a sense. So I mean, once I got that degree, she was like, do whatever the fuck you want. It's your life now.
Nice.
So yeah.
Carmassi to get a college degree.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's like, and I'm pretty sure that they felt like proud of you for that, right? And then kinda, or I don't know. I feel like
I care. My parents. I'm adopted.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, so it means less. You're adopted.
Yeah, it means less.
She's not blood.
Yeah, they can't take as much credit for it. So they're like, good job, I guess.
We didn't make it, but she showed up and put on the jersey.
Guess this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. How old were you when, like, if you don't mind talking about the whole adoption thing, like, how old were you when you?
Oh, mine was easy breezy. I was born.
Oh, okay. So like right.
Like a pop out, and
then they just caught you and they like threw you down, touchdown. Like we got another one.
Yeah. They're like, yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about your current company or your the working with the kids. So, because that's one of the things that I admired, because you were able to attend any of my rehearsals because you were busy being a role model and impacting the future. So, so like, tell me about. I'm guessing to start off, did you start that?
Yeah. So I've been teaching kids for like 10 years in LA, and then I was like, okay, before I turn 30, I have to own something. Like I have to be running something of my own. Because working for my boss has been amazing. Like I have the best boss ever. She's a dancer as well. She hires me to teach kids. But there's like certain like artistic things that I think are valuable and important based on my experience that I want to share with the next generation that don't quite fit with sort of any existing program. So I made my
sounds like
yeah. So it's basically like hip hop is the foundation, right? Like choreography and freestyle in popping, locking, breakdancing, and then like community choreography. That's kind of like our foundation. And then slowly I'm adding in other elements that I feel are what I wish someone had taught me, whether it be something I wish my parents had taught me, or things that I wish I had known before moving out to LA and being like, I'm a dancer, I'm in LA. So I have like a couple of things that we've already been doing. So basically my students, we do concept videos. So I help them, which if you've ever shot anything ever with children,
can imagine.
It's hard. It's hard. But basically I'm teaching them, kind of like the fundamentals, like the basics. Because I've noticed that, I've had a few experiences where I've been on a little bit more of a professional set, and there's a really talented dancer there with me, but that dancer doesn't know how to conduct themselves because they don't understand how filmmaking works and how music videos work or how a professional set should go. Yeah. There's a little, because they don't understand the hierarchy, they kind of do these like social faux pas that are like, ooh, yeah. Place, So I kind of want to just make sure that I'm presenting my kids with like the fullness of like, hey, this is how things work. This is how a professional set works. Like, this is what a director is. This is what a DP is. Here's different types of shots. Yeah. And then I have them do it. Like, so we do it with them. And then right now, because they're at home, they're doing it themselves. And okay, so this is a close-up. This is a wide shot. This is a medium shot. Why do we use a close-up here? Why would we use a wide shot here? Yeah. So just kind of. So
it's like you're teaching them basic film as well. That is essential, especially now.
I know, and you would know because that's.
Yeah, because I watch some dance videos and they're shit. And I hate it.
I know, and here's there's a couple things that really have got me. So there's like the creative side, like you just mentioned, where it's like you see this dancer that's so good and they're so talented and their costume is fire, and then it's shot like grainy as fuck. And you like can barely fucking tell what's happening. And you're like, that sucks. I was rooting for you. Right? Like full Tyra. And then it's just like, that sucks, bro. Because like, I wish someone had just taught you, or that you had, had people around you who could help you out with this stuff. And I've had the benefit of my friend Chanel, who's over, that's where I'm gesturing. She's over there right now.
Oh, okay.
I live with a director, a graduate of NYU.
Nice.
So I have her experience, like speaking into my life,
in
terms of how things are done, how things are shot, how you should set up your shot list, and all of these things. So I hired her to teach my kids, and so she brings like her expertise to them. So it's not just me, but like she comes in and does her thing. So she's been coming to our shows for a couple of years and shooting the kids and making videos for them. So yeah, it's like it's kind of, there's that aspect, right? There's like the creative aspect. Like, I don't want you guys to make things that are ugly.
For you.
Yeah, I want them to kind of like know how to do things, right? Look at how to be well lit, whatever. You know, my lighting is shit right here, so don't judge me.
I think in the new normal, Zoom quality is passable for anything.
I know, right? So. And it's like, this is the only room that has air conditioning. It's my bedroom. So
nice.
we have like all the things in here for this call. Like we have like my table here and like all this other shit.
Oh yeah, my AC's loud, so I'm like sitting here in the humid. Like, yeah, I don't mind it. It's just, you know, I think I'll sit through it to minimize the amount of cleanup I have to do for the audio.
Ooh, you're a real one. Appreciate you. I got my AC running, so.
Well, I'm not hearing it. Mine is loud, and you'll hear it on this mic. You'll see it when I'm editing. It's like, I'm like, fuck. So I'd much rather, you know, deal with the occasional car passing by versus that.
Right.
But yeah, our next question really is, what advice would you give to like dancers or people who are aspiring to start pursuing dance as a career, but they're like, I don't know if I should.
Pursuing dance as a career. So this actually goes into kind of like the second reason why I started my company. I think it kind of comes from like, let me turn this down. I feel like someone who wants to pursue dance as a career, I feel like as women, there are a lot of challenges that no one told me about. So like in my dance team for my kids, like it's not obvious in a lot of the things I'm teaching them, but I'm going to be phasing in, once we start meeting in person again, I'm going to be phasing in some stuff about contracts and about how to make sure that you're reading the contract. What's a good contract? What's a shitty contract? Or child-friendly version.
Laws.
So that, I think there's like a lot of sexism that you have to be able to navigate. Like you're never going to like, it's not going to be eradicated, right? But there's like ways to navigate it that are helpful. And then there's like ways to navigate it where you look like a crazy person. So even though you're not. So like a lot of what I'm teaching is like, I guess my advice to somebody who wants to pursue dance is you have to know what you're talking about and you have to come up with solutions. You have to come up with your own creative solutions. So like when there is something you don't like about the way a dance team is run or the way that some things are going down on a gig. You know, I've had some gigs where all of a sudden you show up and this director of the music video was like listing all the clothing items that I was about to take off. And I was like, that was not what we agreed on.
That was on contract, was it?
It was not, because I didn't have one. Because I just moved out to LA and I didn't know anything about contracts. What is a contract, right? So I just showed up thinking, oh yeah, it's like a friend of a friend who makes music. This is going to be so cool. And then it immediately became like an unsafe situation. I show up, there's all these drunk guys on the set.
Oh man.
That are not, by the way, working on the set. They're just there.
Homies. Yeah. God.
I was like, that's interesting. Like, because all the equipment looked very cheap, but then like the bar setup looked real expensive. So I was,
the only thing that they wanted. Okay.
Yeah. So it was, you know, I feel like if you are empowered and you're putting in the work and the time and the energy to learn your craft, you're going to be able to spot some bullshit much quicker, and you're going to be able to not maybe even enter those situations in the first place. But then, you know, at the same time, if you are really educated, you do show up to places and there's things that you're like not loving, you know, like you're being harassed by your dance director, for example, which has happened to me. you can find ways to talk about those things that stick to the facts, right? Because that's what people are ready to hear. They're ready to hear like a creative solution. They're ready to hear like, well, would you guys mind if I talk to you guys, the board of directors? Can I just come to your meeting for just 2 minutes and just talk to you guys about my idea for our costumes for the next set? Because I really had some good ideas. And if you can like come through with ideas as opposed to, he's harassing me and I don't like it and I don't want to wear it, you're telling me to wear it, right? It's like that. No one's going to listen to that shit. Even though you're right.
Yeah.
No one's going to listen to that. So I feel like someone coming in wanting to be successful in the dance industry, like that's what I would say is arm yourself with knowledge and really get in touch with your own creative muse, like your own energy.
Yeah.
Like meditate, do whatever you need to do. Because then when something doesn't sit right with you, you're not just sitting there like, oh, I hate what's happening. This sucks because I'm really passionate about dance, but I'm really pissed. You can just find a way to make that situation, better or what it ideally should be.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be a lot of moments, especially for, someone who's just starting out. You're going to not every situation is going to be ideal, and it takes a while to find your tribe. So, like, on the journey, put in the work. Don't be afraid to say no to things that make you uncomfortable so that you can keep your integrity and keep your light shining bright. So when things do come forward where you're like, ooh, that's what I want to do, you can jump in with both feet. And with full confidence, and you can contribute, and then people are going to want you there.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to try to, especially if you're first starting, they're trying to take advantage of people who are inexperienced and don't know what's up.
Yeah.
Like because they just want to, give you an opportunity, quote unquote, exposure and all that. And it's, and again, those without a contract, that means they can pretty much try to tell you to do anything.
Anything could have happened.
Yeah, so that's, which is not a very good situation for it at all, because it's, I mean, you would have the option to leave, but most people, in my opinion, just like they feel the pressure of trying to make something happen for themselves, they kind of pressure themselves to stay, even though it's not good for them.
So true. That's a fucking life skill. I watched a movie that I don't like that much called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, based on that book.
Oh yeah, that was a great book.
I haven't read the book. I'm excited to read the book. I think it's going to be better than the movie. I didn't really enjoy the movie, but one part that was like fucking so dope, which is like completely exactly what we're talking about, is like this dude, without like giving away too many details, there's like this like fucked up person, and they're like, oh yeah, just come with me for a second, alone. Just come into like this place alone with just me. Yeah, come on. And like, because the person was quote nice or smiling, the other person who knew something was off went anyway. They followed this like creepy ass person, even though they knew something was wrong, because they felt obligated to be nice. And then the person just fucks you up because they're like, you knew something was wrong, but you came anyway. And I was like, oh, dude, that's so true. And in creative spaces, we have to be so aware of ourselves, because it's like, it's your passion. And if your passion is the same as your career, like that hits so much harder when you're in an unsafe space. Like it hurts on every level.
It's something you love so dearly, but then it's violated by some fuck. Yeah. So, and especially with, I don't know if you've heard anything that's happening in the dance community you've heard? Okay. Yeah. That's kind of, whew.
I know.
It's just wild. Like,
what are you thinking about? Like, as a dance leader, the head of a company, like what's going through your mind when you're looking at those things?
Well, the first thing that's really coming up for me is like how much ego can get in the way, or how much people's, when they get this quote unquote fame, how much people start really operating from ego and instead of like really looking for the best of other people. For me, as well as like, I don't know, I guess disappointed in a sense that shitty people were put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Because, like as much as I talk shit, like you haven't been to any of the temper tantrum rehearsals, but when you were at the meetings, you saw the dynamic. I talk shit to the whole team.
Yes.
Because it's like out of love, but like it's, I don't know. Like I haven't really verbalized it. I've thought a lot. I've thought a lot about it, and it's just disappointing that it's happening. And I'm also like, I've also questioned myself, like, if I, being a leader, like, what did I put someone in the uncomfortable situation? But I was so blind because my ego was in the way. So like, who have I put in that situation? Did I put anyone in that situation? Because like, one, it sucks to be canceled, but two, it's like, it sucks like for me, because I've shared with you like what I went through in the reaction video, like what I had to do, like 52 weeks of anger management, all that stuff with so I shared with you like that stuff. I like that has helped me kind of look back and see where I was in the wrong. And then I just like a lot of especially the people who did the hurting, and it's very, I would say, abuser mentality or talk, where they would say it takes two to do this, or they or the gaslighting. It's like, there's the whole thing is like, you don't get to be the one that says if they got hurt or not, if you did the hurting. So, and then as a person who has done the hurting, it's the things that are really lacking is empathy of what's happening and taking responsibility of it, even though like you in your head you may not have done anything wrong. The fact that there's a human being in front of you that's hurting, to dismiss it is, I think, is cruel, because it's essential. If you can be a part of someone's healing, why not? But then that's the thing, is as someone who has a lot of fame and a lot of attention and all that stuff, it can get to their head and they can feel untouchable. They can get away with certain things. So it's like, yeah, in a sense, it sucks. But also, as someone else who's seeing it, I'm kind of, for lack of a better way of saying it, I'm glad it is happening to someone else, because then I get to learn from it. Because then I'm like, because it's a reminder for me, like, I think I discussed this with my girlfriend. I feel like in the very, very early days of fambiz, I feel like I could have gone that route, but thankfully there were people that were like, they were brave enough to call me out, and I'm grateful that I was willing to really reflect on the feedback and like and shift how I was approaching leadership. But yeah, like ultimately, I want to create truly a safe environment where I can talk shit to everyone.
The healthy balance.
Yeah, because it's cool, because it's like you see them create all these amazing things. They're famous, they're Instagram famous, they're doing all these gigs, but it's like, in my head, I was always like, because I've heard some of the things that happen. I actually wasn't expecting to talk about this, because I was trying to avoid talking about it, because I kind of wanted to make it into a group podcast. But I also want to be respectful to the people sharing their stories, because we're outside looking in.
Right.
So, but like, just coming from the perspective of someone who's led and witnessing, yeah, like I always wondered, at what cost did you do to get there? Who did, like, I'm not gonna say who did you have to hurt, but how much did you have to push? Like, not just yourself, because it was your team, like, because there's a level of excellence that they do have with I guess the technical aspect of dancing, but what about the culture, which is, for me, is much more important than dancing really cool. Because I'd much rather be on stage with people who are like, we can look to each other on stage and like know that this is going to be an amazing memory, and we can talk about it next week, or like if you fucked up, or the experience overall. Because I mean, the whole thing, life is just a bunch of experiences. That's it. And if if the process to getting there, yes, it's hard work, but you don't have to make it any harder than it is by being a dick about it.
Right.
So, what about you? Like, what are your thoughts? Because you're a leader yourself. And
I've been thinking a lot about this. So I have a lot of thoughts, but my big takeaway is learning how to say sorry. So there's times in my life where just one-on-one with friends, family, whoever, where I've just been like,
I love how animated you are.
And then like, as soon as I say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's like, it feels good to say sorry. So I'm trying to figure out like what is the best way to educate my students on their own rights and how they deserve to be respected, right? So like I do have a pretty good atmosphere of like I'm always like asking them like what do you guys need? You know, so I want them to practice understanding what they need. Like, do you need water? Do you need a break? Do you need to run again? What do you guys need? Because I'll have a plan, but I'll kind of modify based on what we want. Because I'm working with children. It's like they, you know, they have their own. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on for them. So that's kind of my big takeaway is like, you know, if I ever teach something like, and I'm like, oh, it was actually on and one, just like getting in this habit of, oh, I'm sorry, you guys, it's actually this, my bad, you know, and just because I always do that, but it's just like kind of affirming in me the importance of always being ready to say you're sorry, because then when it comes to bigger issues, like the bigger issues probably won't come up because you're already in the mindset of like, how do I respect people the most? It's like not like what's like, how good can we fucking get? It's like, how do I do the most good for you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, being like the mindset. So definitely, I feel like the apology situation was a whole situation that is completely invalidating, completely gaslighting in that particular what's going on in the dance community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, across the board, just awful. So, you know, being able to truly feel sorry about some shit you did wrong, like that's tough.
Yeah. And actually, you know, embodying being sorry, not just saying, oh, I'm sorry, and just like saying it to say it, you know, because some people, just say it just to like get them off their backs.
Yeah. And making like key adjustments. So like, there's like, I had a conversation actually when this came up with some parents on my team. Like that could have gone really bad, you know, but I want them to understand, like, because I have them fill out these privacy forms about when you're working with children. I don't want to talk to your child alone in their bedroom. Please do not hand them your phone. No texting allowed. You know, I have like a whole form about safety.
That's good. Yeah.
And it's like, I just wanted to let them know, like, there's a context to this. You know, not every teacher is Miss Amanda. So as much as we want to like love the dance community, and I brought some of my kids to 5 juniors, so they're like, you know, we wanted to like, like in it, right? They want to be like, wow, we want to be like that. It's like we also have to understand there's like flaws in every community. There's things that we all got to work on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my takeaway is like, how do I'm just like meditating on how do I further educate parents so that they're armed with certain, you know, I'm just trying to empower them. Basically, our conversation was, you don't ever have to feel uncomfortable in any dance situation ever. If I don't care how many trophies somebody's won, I don't care what they're saying. If you don't like how your child's being treated, I empower you to leave the situation, period.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of our conversation. Because I don't know if they're going to dance with me 5 years from now, 7 years from now, but it's more about just letting them know, like, hey, it's uncomfortable, but this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to just know right now that this is why I have you fill out these forms. This is why we treat your children the way we treat them.
Yeah, and then you know about the one that happened in Las Vegas too, right?
I'm trying to not.
Okay, yeah. That's.
To be honest with you, I'm trying. I watched like all the like, you know, of that particular team, and then once I got to a certain point, I said, okay, like I'm good. I understand how these people are operating. It's given me a framework to better discuss safety protocols with my clients. Like that's where I need to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because with the dance community, there's like, it's a community. There's no board, you know, overlooking the whole thing. So every team is pretty much the Wild West. You can run it every way you know, every which way you want. You can practice till 6 a.m. just so you can compete and all that other stuff.
Right.
It's, you know, and then people are, you know, obviously they're dedicated or passionate about it, but it's like, again, it goes at the thing, like at what cost, like as if you have people that are down and the team as a whole says it's cool, you know, I think, you know, that's cool. As a director is obviously it's your job to, you know, obviously push the team to be at the next level, but you also have to check in with them as well to see where they're at, which I think is a lot of missing. But yeah, the Las Vegas situation is interesting, and I think I kind of want to ask about your year. Like, what plans were you most excited about prior to Corona?
Oh,
No, let me show you my cemetery of 2020 ideas.
all of my plans just dead. Okay, so as far as my business goes, I had this like whole set planned out for my kids. That was like this very elaborate, like very cool, but definitely able to execute. Definitely, within our realm of
Mhm.
expertise. And it was this whole concept video slash live performance with the use of concept videos.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, that all is a Marvel themed set. But I did my own, like I just used clips from the movies in between the songs to tell like my own made up story. So it's kind of like what the core dance crew does, where it's like fan fiction through dance,
Yeah.
but it's like my story about. It's like my story about Baby Groot, basically.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's so funny and it's so cute, and the kids were like, yeah! And like, we were learning like our Black Widow dance and our Iron Man dance, and we were like killing it.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a really fun concept. Like, it's really cool, and I think they'd have a lot of fun, and they'll get a lot of technique. But then we can't do that. So, we pivoting. So that died. They're making their own concept videos at home. They're still learning some skills. They'll be fine.
That's cool.
And then the other thing was I was kind of saving up because my money flows like this. Like I'm an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain seasons where I make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, April. That was kind of my month in my mind. I was like, April is the month when I think I'm ready to start doing like actual acting classes and like pay money for this shit. Because I'm enjoying the acting experiences I've had so far. I'd like to continue doing it. I'd like to develop a community where we're, doing projects together. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then like obviously that's that.
Oh, you could always do TikTok and make it, since it's like the new Vine.
I know.
Do some skits.
But actually, so like it died, but then it kind of didn't though. Because now I have acting class every Monday, but just like with my friends.
Oh, sick.
We started one, they started one, and then I joined it. And now I'm one of like the people that goes every week. So it worked out. Just, I kind of had been wanting to work with actually these people for a while. So it was kind of like,
oh, hey.
Yeah, it kind of was weird because I had like this person in the back of my mind, like, I want to learn from this person. Like, I want to work with him. And then he was like, oh, I'm starting this thing.
So, yeah, it just like happened to like,
yeah.
It's one of those things, like the best, sometimes the things that, I forgot what I say, the things you want it to happen, sometimes it's best that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because then like the better thing happens because it's free. Yeah. Like people that I was like, oh shit, I fucking admire that person. Like I want to like work with them and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out.
That's cool, man. Like I'm hearing that the conversations from like Rosie, you, and Diego, and all these other people that are taking all these other classes. So it's like I'm honestly having. Well, I fucked up. I didn't get to sign up for the classes, but I've been wanting to take classes. At the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I prioritize it because I'm afraid of. For me, I know it's a commitment issue. So.
For so many dance Patreon people that I'm supposed to be learning the choreo and I have not learned a single fucking move.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm afraid of. Like if I sign up, I don't do it. So yeah, because I know like I'm still working on a lot of stuff. Obviously I'm working with you guys, creating podcasts and everything, but then there's still my company stuff, like my social media company stuff. Then there's obviously parenting.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm like, would I have time? But what are you looking forward to when this whole thing is over?
Oh, God.
Just getting out of your basement and seeing the nuclear all the nuclear fallout is gone. It's safe to breathe again.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to go into spaces with other humans and breathe the air next to them without fear. That would be lovely. I'm excited. I really miss the way that it feels when you're in dance room and you're like, so you're at rehearsal. I just miss right when you finish running a certain part of the set or finish running a piece and you're kind of like sitting on the side and then you just look around at all the fuckery going on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there'll be like somebody for no reason that's on the ground doing like angels, but their face down. And they're just like doing this. And then like
God.
over here and there's a person just like rolling but real slow. You know what I mean? And then there's like a dude over here who's like climbing onto another person's back, but that person's having a full-on conversation.
Yeah.
They're still letting the person climb on their back. You know what I mean? Like, dancers are fucking wild-ass motherfuckers.
That's true. Very...
I miss it. I miss that weird shit.
Yeah, I do. I miss the energy. It just doesn't transfer as well on, like, Zoom. Like, I wanted...
on y'all's backs.
Well...
I gotta adjust the camera first.
Yeah, I really wanted to just do a podcast in person because then, like, the energy, like those easily become like 2-hour podcasts. The first one I did with Brandon was like it just flew quickly.
Oh.
And, yeah, it was great. I'm excited for actual in-person experiences, but who knows how long that's going to take with the way things are right now. Yeah.
I am excited though to keep creating things.
Yeah,
that I can talk to you about too, about maybe afterwards.
Yeah, I'm down. Like if it concept video-ish thing.
Yeah.
Sick. I don't know if you saw, but with Rosie, I create a lot of micro content from this. So this one episode becomes 15. So.
Oh, good idea, because no one will watch 2 hours of this.
You'd be surprised. So yeah, like the numbers are small. Yeah, the numbers are small, but people will still do it. If people are willing to watch obviously like a 3-hour movie, it always comes back down to the value.
Right, like am I saying interesting enough shit? Like,
or yeah, like so, which is why one of the reasons why like, here's how I think about it is like the mini episodes are the gateway drug to the bigger episode, or it can just be to the point of like answering their question. Either way, it's a win-win because we get a view, potential new subscriber. So it's like yeah, like I have a very.
I was like, should I look hotter? Like, I don't want to.
I think the value you're going to give is going to speak more volumes.
Yeah, that's right. I'm valuable outside of my hotness.
Yeah. Yeah, like you don't have to look a certain way because I like what you shared already. Like the minute we start talking about leadership, I'm like, this is going to be a huge topic for this because
But on the topic of hotness, everybody should know that even though I'm adopted into an Italian family, I'm actually also Brazilian. So, like, if you're just looking for hotness content, like, I'm here for that as well. And if you're like a single male and you're a feminist, like, go ahead and hit me up.
Ooh, also you're available and looking. So hit her up. So hit her up on Instagram. Shoot your shot.
If by looking you mean I do nothing whatsoever to do anything, then yes. I'm not on Match. I'm not on Hinge. You won't find me on Tinder, but you will find me hiding in my house.
Have you ever gotten any like strange DMs?
God, yeah. Dude, I was selling shit on Facebook Marketplace and this fool asked me out.
Damn.
I was like, bro, I respect it, but also fuck you.
I love how you just went from like super like charming to like, yo, just fuck this fool.
Like, not the place, bro. Facebook Marketplace?
What's the weirdest place you've ever been, I guess, approached? I know one of my friends was, and I didn't know it existed. People were being hit up on LinkedIn, like trying for.
That's a thing. That's totally a thing. I don't think I have a LinkedIn, so I don't have any of those stories. But I do have stories about one time I was at Trader Joe's. Oh, I have so many stories.
These are entertaining. I love to hear this.
I was at Trader Joe's, and I was like chilling. I was just walking.
Is that how you walk?
That's how I walk in the grocery store.
Okay.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's these two dudes. They work at Trader Joe's. They're working there. They are at their job stocking potatoes. Okay? Potatoes.
Okay.
And then I hear them talking about this woman who's in front of me, and they're rating her on a scale of 1 to 10. And I was like, oh no, because I had a dish planned that required potatoes. So I was like, damn, I gotta walk by these motherfuckers.
Oh, so then you're like immediately sensing that you're gonna be judged.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they're gonna assess me, they're gonna judge me, possibly approach me, in which case I will of course have to get violent, maybe throw a potato. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just don't know what's gonna happen. So instead I tattled on them to the manager.
Oh my God.
On that bitch.
Oh my God.
So, tattle on them. Also another time, in my younger years when I was less smart about things, I was asked out in line at a what? Walmart. Okay, couple things. We're in line. That's a no. 2, we're at Walmart.
Quality people.
Okay. But I was like, I'm 21 and have no common sense. Sure, why not? Turns out, I developed a stalker. So for 2 weeks, I had a stalker.
Whoa. What? How was that handled?
Yep. So eventually, we were dancing like in my garage, like in my dance team. This was when I was in college. And
they knew where you lived too?
Well, I had what?
They knew where you lived?
Yes.
Everything?
Because I may have, after the second date, invited them to a party at my house. I was young. Never give anybody your address, kids. I don't care that you've been on 2 dates with them and they haven't assaulted you yet. You still don't give them your address.
Yeah, you don't know a person until you've seen their worst.
No. So we're rehearsing, and I've been seeing like this mysterious truck, just like circling my house for 2 weeks.
Sounds like a you situation.
And I was like, oh, that's for sure him. That's definitely him.
Shit.
I called him Wally Walmart. I don't know what his name is. That's just like what I called him. I'm pretty sure. So, and then what happened is one of my dancers was like, hey, because our garage door is open. Like I had all these like janky ass mirrors up, so I created like a dance studio in my garage for our team to rehearse in.
Nice.
Because we couldn't get enough space on campus. So the door is open, so we can see this dude driving by. And this girl comes up to me. She's like, hey, I don't know if I should tell you this. I don't want to be weird. I just thought you should know there's like this truck, and he's driven by 2 times now, and he's like staring at us. And I don't know why. I just thought I should tell you. And I was like,
shit.
You know, because then it's starting to affect my team.
Yeah.
So then immediately, like, it was a no-brainer. I walked in. I said, hey, thank you so much for telling me. I got this. Go ahead and rehearse. Like, I got you. And then I just went inside. It was, yeah. And, like, one of the guys, like, she had told, like, one of the boys on the team first. It was so precious. And he came up to me. He's like, hey, Amanda, she's got something to tell you. Like, he was, like, looking out for her and shit, too. It was really sweet. So then I go inside. And I just tell all my friends, I'm like, hey, you guys remember that dude that came to this party? And everybody's like, no. And I'm like, hey. So he's been, like, just circling in a truck. Can you guys, like, what should I, like, do? Like, how do I handle this? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I immediately just came out with it. Because I had known for 2 fucking weeks that, like, this dude was circling my fucking house.
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything until it started to affect, like, you know, somebody else.
Yeah.
But it was good, because then this dude, like, who was at our house, he's like, oh, I got this. And then he just went outside and he, like, ran. And he was, like, trying to chase down, like, the truck for a second. And then it just never came back.
Oh, shit.
All right. Whatever.
Oh, my God.
He's like, yeah, he wouldn't stop for me. That tracks. Because he's actually not here for you. He's here for me. So, anyway, yes, asked out all over the place. Men are horrible. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Well, I mean, I do acknowledge the stupid shit that we've done, so... I mean, I've learned the hard way about where the toxic masculinity, where that leads. So
Totally. It leads to a truck circling my house. Like, bitch, get a job. Get a job. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
Stop me on your off hours.
So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't give people your address, bitch.
Okay, aside from like aside from that, I mean, like
My younger self about boys.
I think not just boys, but like I think sounds like you listen to your own advice already. But like, yeah, what advice would you give to like say your 17-year-old self or 18-year-old self?
17-year-old self.
Yeah.
She was a prude ass bitch, so she didn't need much advice. But what I would have told her is that you're going to become a little bit, just like a teensy bit of a whore. Not too much, but just a little bit. So when you get there, that's fine, because we're all on our own path. Make sure you learn Krav Maga.
Wow. That's very specific.
Yeah.
Do you know Krav Maga now?
I took one class, and I'm now an expert.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm curious about your leadership. So we're bouncing all over the place. This is just like me and my curiosity. So that's, I told you, like, here's the format, but I'm going to get curious about things I'm going to ask. So like.
That's sociology, by the way.
What?
Asking questions when you get curious. That's like half of sociology. No, that's 95% of sociology.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just get curious about people and then I just ask. That's why I love doing these interviews.
Yes, this is qualitative research, sir.
So I'm going to put it in my dossier of Amanda Carmassi. I have to do this every time. Oh, actually, because you said you moved to LA before I go into the leadership thing. Where were you before?
I am from the Bay. I am from the bougie part of the Bay. I am from Fairfax, which is a hippie town in the middle of the bougie part of the Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, like in my hometown, like all of the people that live there are rich hippies.
Oh, wow.
So there's no corporations allowed. We're like, protest, protest. We have enough money to protest. And they protest. And they were like, we don't want corporations in our town. So it's all, like, if you walk through the town, it's only small businesses. There's no, like, Target or shit like that. Like,
wow.
We don't have that shit.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not permitted. Yeah. So that's how I grew up, is, like, there's a lot of trees everywhere. Everybody's like, fuck the establishment. Everybody's like, fuck capitalism, fuck the patriarchy. Like, I just went back there not that long ago, like a year ago, and I was eating lunch at like just a restaurant, just like a health food store / restaurant. I'm just sitting there, open seating, quite close. The tables are quite close to other tables. And there's this old man who's like clearly lived here his whole life. And he's so passionate because he's talking about sexual freedom. And he stands up because he's like, you know what? I just get so sick of everybody just making it seem like we can't do sexually whatever we want. Woman, man, anyone in between, do what you need to do. Be safe, yes, but do whatever you want to do with your body. And he just stands up and he just keeps going.
Wow.
I mean, maybe a minute and a half, which is a long time when you're just like eating noodles and minding your business.
Yeah.
But I think it's a testimony to where I grew up because like no one responded. Like the people at his table were like, yeah, but everybody else was just like, this is normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, yeah, obviously sexual freedom. Like, we shouldn't judge women. We shouldn't call people sluts. Like, he's just going on and on. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I grew up.
That place sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's dope. It was really good for me. Growing up, I was like a conservative Christian, but I was in that environment.
Wow, that's kind of like colliding right there.
Yeah. So I was like in that environment and I was like, yes to this, but also yes to this also completely opposite thing. So it was just like this constant paradox walking around in the world. They called me Tofu at my church. That was my nickname. Makes sense. I was like the health conscious hippie sort of person.
Ah,
So yeah, like that's like where I grew up, but it wasn't necessarily who I became. It was merely like the seeds were planted.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I sort of have like grown into that, you know what I mean? Like I've grown into a space of like, yes, this old man screaming about sexism in the restaurant is like just lovely and normal and wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty dope. Like how, and I think that's the huge problem with a lot of people is that they don't know how to accept the other view. It's like the minute they hear a different opinion, it's very much like you're attacking me. No, it's just an exchange of information.
Right.
Whether if it's triggering you, maybe you need to look into yourself and see why it's triggering you. So it's like, yeah. Again, lack of empathy, lack of self awareness, just a lot of yelling and trying to get everyone to agree with you when it's almost like people think they have a monopoly on reality when they don't, and then to get the true picture they got to look at everywhere. But anyways.
Yes. We are all a paradox. Let's just accept it.
Yeah, we are. Going back to the whole leadership thing, like how would you, like when you're leading your team or even now, did you have to like study other leaders? Like, did you look up to any particular people, or were just like, I'll figure it out?
Actually, I think it was like the end of my junior year or maybe my senior year. I don't remember when it was, but I like took some sort of class. Maybe it was at like Sodium or something. I don't know where I was, but it was like a special workshop taught by like Keone and Mari.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and so I wanted to figure out because I could feel like I was missing something. Like there wasn't like a complete unity to how I was leading, which I now know was due to the fact that I should have been in therapy. How can you unify other people when you are all a mess and you're 20 years old? You don't know what's going on. You're giving your address to strangers. Like, come on. But basically I was like, hey, like, do you mind just talking to me for a second? And Mari was busy. So I talked to Keone for he really gave me a lot of time. And we talked for like maybe 10, 15 minutes about just like leadership. And I was like, oh.
Sick.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. And then I kind of came back wherever I was at. Like I noticed kind of the difference. I don't know when it was, but I just remember feeling different, after that conversation, obviously, because obviously Keone and Mari are brilliant choreographers and brilliant people.
I think, yeah, they really set the bar in many ways.
Yeah. I mean, they're really incredible. And so I think like that experience kind of sort of softened my energy in the right way to where I could like truly be like, yes, you do this and you do that. And this is how you delegate. That was kind of what came out of it, not needing to be everything for everybody, but accepting that I can't be everything for everybody. And I don't need to hold in all of the shit that every person's bringing to me. I can like bring it to the group and like we can figure that shit out. Yeah. So that was probably like the only really person speaking into me at that point. But it was really sweet. And then I like took a class like 10 months later or something, like at some random, how everybody's like in garages. It was like at some UCLA garage that like Keone was teaching. So I went out and like,
yeah,
I don't know what it was. And then he immediately recognized me. I was like, and he wouldn't recognize me now because it's been years. But like that really kind of confirmed something for me. I was like, okay, like this is fucking cool. Like Keone just recognized me, So like he was like, how's your team doing? I was like, oh, that matters. What we do matters. What artists do matters.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that was kind of the only person speaking into me at that point. But now I have like 1,000 people speaking into my life, which is much smarter. So I have like all of these people, like mostly women in leadership from like many disciplines.
Yeah.
Like speaking into my life and helping me understand how to like lead my team and how to run my business and just how to like exist in the world. So I'm much better off now that I have like more mentorship. Not that like there can't be an excess of things, because there could be an excess, but I haven't reached the point of excess.
Yeah, it saves the heartache of experience. So
the heartache of fucking up.
That's why I'm like seeing everything that's happening in the community, the people that fucked up. I'm like, I'm learning from this, so it does not happen to here.
They are real fucked up. But there's so many ways in which we can be fucked up too.
That's true.
So it's a reality check, because it's like fucked up. Like they didn't just one day become what they were. They didn't just like one day start acting like monsters. It's like there's like there's
a series.
Yeah. So it's like we gotta cut that shit down right now.
Yeah.
All of our little habits and behaviors now, just like handle it, and then we'll never reach the atrocities. That they've reached.
Yeah. I'm. Oof. It was about leadership, but then we went too far to what we were talking about. I'm gonna ask you like a couple more questions, and we're gonna go to the rapid fire segment.
Yes.
All right. Oh, actually, this came up to mind. Like throughout this whole journey of dancing, what do you feel like surprised you the most about it?
That dance could save my life. I feel like that was kind of a thing. Like, you know how like dancers are like, dance is life.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but like it kind of is. Like if you look at the neuroscience behind like the way dancers connect with one another, it's so unique. Like it's not the way that people connect when they play basketball. Like I encourage you to look at it. They've only been really looking into it for like maybe 10 years, like really looking into it, but it's pretty cool like what they found. So basically the way that like say sports people connect with each other, it's like not the same. For dancers to connect with one another, they call it kinesthetic empathy. So it's like, in my opinion, the ultimate form of empathy, because in order for me to do the same choreography as you, the pathways in my brain need to exactly match the pathways in your brain.
I just got fucking chills right now. That's fucking cool, dude.
It's really cool. I really encourage you to look it up. Kinesthetic empathy.
All right,
So when I looked that up, I was like, oh shit. Like that's why when dancers are like, fam, 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 all the time.
Yeah.
It's like kind of annoying, but like it kind of like makes sense, like on a brain level, on a scientific level. Like like hypeness is real. Like when we see a dancer freestyle, our brain responds as though we are also doing what they're doing, and exponentially more if we have experience in that style.
Yo, yeah.
Hypeness is like scientifically real.
Damn, that makes sense when I see other b-boys or like other people just start getting down. I'm like,
yeah, because you think it's you. Your brain is like, that's me, and I'm you, and we're the same, and you're awesome, right? Like it's happening.
Yeah.
In our brains, we think that we're doing that. We think that's us. So the connection between dancers probably has been the thing that I've been the most surprised by, because it's like I hate being that person who's like, oh fam, oh we're best friends, oh my god I just met you, but we're so close because we're on a dance team. Like I fucking hate that shit. That's not who I am. But it's like, is it though? You know what I mean? Like on some level.
You could just be just like the Dario, but you're like in your head, or fam.
Yeah.
Like our Aubrey Plaza from April Ludgate from yeah, she's great. Yeah. That's fucking cool. That makes so much sense.
Yes.
Cause like I mean I enjoy sports but like the connection that I've witnessed, at least, like I've experienced it as a dancer, but the connection that I've seen like people who do football or basketball, it just didn't feel as at my experience as deep in a sense with dance.
Yeah.
So
that's what you're seeing. Kinesthetic empathy. You're seeing a full body recognition of myself in yourself and yourself in myself.
Wow.
Like a very real connection. That's why, that's why we got to make sure we're doing our job as leaders. Because if we're connecting in that way and the space is not safe,
yeah,
it's exponentially worse
than
in other spaces in some ways.
Shit.
In terms of development, especially.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been leading like for a majority of most of your dance career. How is it for you when you just have to be the dancer?
God, I fucking love it.
Yes, me too.
I fucking love it. I love just showing up and having no responsibility other than my own choreography. It's like, I'm just here to just learn some shit, and then I fucking leave.
Yeah, I'm one of the fuckheads just off on the side goofing off.
Lizelle, the goddess Lizelle,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel so safe when I've been in dance situations with her, because she like if she has an agenda, she's like, from 7 to 7:02, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You will do it. Like, that's what's happening.
I like
in a natural, gentle way, but like, it's happening. Like, she is so planned out, fucking lesson plan.
Yeah, I liked when my first rehearsal with her, she was like, only these people need to be at rehearsal. Everyone else, you know, like the appropriate people needed to be there. So that way there's no other people just sitting around. Right. So like, I really like took a note from that and helped with temper tantrum rehearsals. It's like super, I give like detailed, like we have a 15-minute window for people to come in, but then from this time to this time, all learning. A lot of the times we've ended early because I don't have anything else planned. I don't want to force the issue on anyone. Like, right. And I send everyone formations with their faces on it. So even though they're missing, I send, before even the first rehearsal starts, I film myself doing a tutorial version of the choreography. So you have an idea before rehearsal starts. I even once all formations are done, I start doing feedback videos. So it's like, I run it and I start saying, your angle's off, like as game tape, and I send it to everyone.
Oh, nice. So the cleaning notes we can peruse at our leisure.
Yeah.
And keep growing in between rehearsals.
Yeah. So it's like, I never wanted an excuse for people to not show up on time, or for us to, you know, I never wanted to waste anyone's time. I hate wasting time. It pisses me off when an art, because I'm sure you've experienced it when you go to a rehearsal, fucking art director doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And like, we're just fucking hanging out. I'm like, I don't want to hang out. We're here to work.
Or they're like, I just made this up in the car.
Yeah.
And they use that as like, I've had that happen several times where they use that as like a point of pride. Like, I'm unprepared.
Yeah, I hated that.
Like, that's not a thing to be proud of. Like, I don't understand this tone.
Yeah, like I hate trying to figure it out when you're supposed to be doing the work. I love the pre-planning, so that way when it's time for rehearse, we get it done, and whatever we can fix, you know, I either through video notes, we can give each other feedback. I just hate the idea of wasting people's time, because especially since for me, I consider myself a time Nazi. Like, I'm very protective of like things that intrude my schedule.
You need to find other words other than Nazi. I'm a fat Nazi.
That's true.
We need to find another. Erase that for a moment.
I'm shit. That's true. Fair, because it's not this time. Yeah, but yeah, like, because then at the same time I see it in other people's, like, damn, they could be doing something else right now. I better make this time worth it, so they're not just fucking, you know, perusing and just lollygagging, standing around in rehearsals. I always hated the idea of, especially when I was running fambiz, 9 to 6 a.m. rehearsals. Like, why do we need to overwork our dancers who aren't getting paid? Why can't we just be prepared ahead of time, get it done, and be prepared with changes you want to make? Don't try to make changes on the spot, because, you know, I know it's an art, but I've been in rehearsals where they're doing formations and then readjusting formations, and then next rehearsal they 86 the formations and then do it again.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess there's a time and a place for it, but it's like, if there's a deadline, done is better than perfect.
Right.
Because like, you want the dancers to feel comfortable on stage instead of like, oh, I need to move to the spot. You don't want them thinking about that stuff. Like, I what do you call, one of the dancers, like, she wanted a center. She wanted a spot from one of our City Walk performances. She wanted a spot. She can do it, but when she was performing it, she wasn't performing it. You can see in her face, she was like thinking about it. So the day of, after tech rehearsal, when I watched, I took her off. So it's like, yeah, I did, and I told her, and it was for the betterment of everyone.
I didn't know it was like that though.
Yeah, because I mean, I told her, like, it's not like, I'm not like, you suck, get the fuck out.
Right.
I'll say that as a joke, but like, I'll be like, like this, like so and so, like I appreciate that you did your best, you learned the choreography, you tried to clean it up, but from what I just saw out there, you're uncomfortable, and I'd much rather have you feel comfortable and confident with everything else instead of trying to remember everything you just learned.
Yeah, you got to make the hard call.
So it's like,
you got to make the call.
yeah. Aside, speaking of hard calls, aside from of passively kicking the other person out, what were some other hard calls that you had to do?
Oh God, you know what? There was a girl in high school because I was the captain of my high school team, and I'll always regret. I mean, this was a hard call, but it was the wrong call. I'll always regret like not taking this one girl on because I like still remember it. It came back to me like maybe 2 months ago. I started thinking about her for some reason. I don't know why. But I feel like I was so intent on everybody needs to be clean. Everybody needs to be clean. That I didn't take this girl on who had like no experience. But really it was like she would have been the best team member because she was the most excited to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for an entire semester, she wasn't on the team, right? And then when she auditioned again, we put her on. And I was like, I'm done. I was in high school. You know what I mean? I was like 16 and a half.
Yeah.
I was an idiot. Like I was dumb.
We like it's often the ones that are like most excited and the least talented that are going to give their most.
Yeah, they're going to be the cleanest. That's the thing. They get the most clean because they're the ones who are actually paying attention to every cleaning note.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
Very aware that they're not the strongest dancer, and they're like, fuck.
How did you deal with experienced dancers and egos?
We didn't have that really on my college team. Everyone was a fucking gem, I gotta say.
Damn. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, truly. And I guess that was just my experience. Everyone was just so lovely and charming. I'm hitting up this one guy. I have to text him again, but I'm asking him to teach my students. He was a choreographer on that team. They're all phenomenal. I would say that happened in high school. It was the last time I experienced like ego trips while on leadership with somebody. And it's interesting because in my experience, the people with the big egos did not have the talent. Whereas the people who were kind of like a little more humble, like there's one girl that she was in leadership with me her senior year. And I won't say who it is, but she's, on TV now. She's on Hulu. She's doing all these things.
Wow.
And she was a little more like humble about her shit. You know what I mean? Like she was leading with me, but there wasn't like, she wouldn't come in like, she would kind of come in like, all right, I just came in from soccer. Like, all right, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, but she was trying her best. She was doing different shit. But like, I feel like the egos for me happened like the year after that. There was a lot more ego going on. And I gotta say, I got a lot of reports back that like after I graduated, the team like started getting really shitty. Like a lot of people were like people I didn't even talk to that much came up to me and they were like, I gotta tell you something. I don't know if you're gonna like hearing this, but I feel like I gotta tell you. The dance team, it's not good. They're not good anymore. And I was like, you know what I mean? But I feel like it was kind of like this lack of experience combined with ego that created that situation. So I've never actually had to deal in leadership with egos other than those of children. Which are arguably much worse, actually.
Children?
I've dealt with some children with ego issues, and then you meet their parents, and you're like, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had to deal with more that kind of shit, like parents with egos or children who have a lot of egos, but I don't really invite those people on my team. Those are more like classes I've taught as opposed to like people I've invited into my space.
Yeah, because then you're allowing that thing to kind of, yeah.
Why would I do? Like, I'm not going to invite a child who's like super sassy and ungrateful to join my team. I'm not going to do that, because they still have some learning to do. They have some growing to do.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to take on the responsibility for that learning? For them.
I think because it's a disrespect to the other kids at this point.
I'm
like, you know what? You're in this class, and that's fine for you right now. But for my business, like, that's the other thing too. Is I was having this conversation with, like, I'm part of this, you know, my boss invites me to these things where it's like people from a lot of different careers all meet together and discuss their small businesses.
Yeah.
Somebody was like really trying to like tell me that I should like go all in on my business to like make the most money possible. And I was like, I don't think so, because I want to work with people that I like. This is my business. I want to teach kids that they just have a good attitude. Like, that's who I want to work with. You know what I mean? It's like, are you going to invite some person on temper tantrums that's like a little shithead that's like punching you in the face?
That's all of you guys. Oh God. Yeah, but I hear where you're coming from, because you're choosing more like, in a sense, happiness versus the greed of it, because you probably can, but that would means, again, it goes to the question, at what cost?
And it actually, there is a financial cost when running a company, because if you bring in, as I learned, if you got one toxic person, it ruins the whole vibe, because they are touching on everybody's nerves. You know what I mean? So if you have one person, it can bring down the whole thing. So I'm like, you know what? If this is a mom that's really, really rude to me and really aggressive with me, and her kid is talented as hell, you're not invited. I honestly don't care. You know, because I don't want people showing up and feeling like, oh God, this person. You know? Or the little ones. I don't want the kids to feel that way either. I don't want a kid bullying the other kid.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Because really what you're doing is, again, I that's why I admire about your work, because you're arming them with tools that both you and I had to learn the hard way, and we're saving them from so much heartache. For them, it's going to be natural. They're going to, so who knows, maybe down the road, they might not be interested in dance, but because you taught them basic camera work, they might want to be filming instead and working with dancers. So
and the way that you watch TV, the way that you watch movies, the way you participate in concept videos, like everything changes when you have these things, these foundations. And I can't teach it if somebody got an attitude.
Just to educate the audience, what's the name of your company so they know?
Well, right now we're called Kids Hop Dance Crew. We're at kidshopdancecrew.com, and we are going to be changing that name because, and this is something else I learned too, is on my college team actually, there was like a name that had been started like 8 years prior, and all of us on the team like didn't really vibe with it, and someone approached me, they're like, hey, so like just what would happen if we had a new, like, I mean, just, you know, I don't want to offend you or anything. Like, they thought I came up with the name. And I was like, I just showed up here. I didn't come up with this name. And they're like, what if we change the name? And I was like, oh, thank God. And they were like, oh, okay. And so then we talked about the purpose of the team, and we figured out, like, what is our vibe. And then, like, one of the guys on the team, such a sweetheart, he kind of, like, came up with this name, and then we came up with, like, how we were going to, like,
brand
you know, like shorten it or whatever. So, I mean, that's sort of what I'm going to do with my team, because my kids, some of them I've been teaching them since they were 3, and now they're like 12.
Shit.
You know, so yeah, we gotta get a name that makes sense for them, and so I'm going to have them do it, and I'm going to have them make a new logo, and they're doing all the work.
Nice.
I'm like, it's your team.
They're like taking real ownership of it, and I think that's what like gets people in even more, is when they take ownership of you know, the company.
It's your shit. You're the one who's showing up to rehearsals. You're the one learning and working hard. Like, what are you getting out of it? They're gonna come up with shit I never thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll guide them, but Kids Hop Dance Crew right now. But as they're getting older, I don't know what they want to be called that. So we'll reestablish.
Like, what drove you? Because I know you were working with kids, but like, why not make a company for adults, like how I'm stupidly doing?
Okay, here's the thing. I would love that, and I have so many thoughts. There's so many ideas. Okay, but the thing is that adults, at least all the talented, glorious adults that I know, are poor as fuck. Nobody's gonna pay me to teach them. You feel me?
Yeah, I hear you.
So, like, I'm paying my friends to teach my students. So this is like a way of me slowly starting to
to
my friends who've taught me and who've just are fucking dope as fuck. But it's more about like, I wanted to have a company and a thing that I own, which is, you know, working with kids, it's a little easier because their parents are like, this seems great. I will invest in this.
Yeah.
My child. Yeah. So I can make money.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I can do acting and dance and creative projects that are a little bit more of like what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I have like another source of income that's helping me to create those things. So that was more the intention. It wasn't like an end goal. It was like a means to other creative ends. A really fun way to take every single thing that I'm doing and like bring that in as a lesson plan to constantly help the next generation, like learn from my fucking mistakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it makes sense. Cause like obviously parents of adult dancers, they're not going to pay for it, but yeah, but there's definitely parents who are willing to pay for programs like this to help get their kids. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And learning. And
yeah. Okay. That makes, yeah. Cause in my head, like when the beginning of this year, I'm like how do we just not make it for fun? How do we start earning other ways of doing it? So it's just like, obviously you see me, like I'm trying to do a million different ways for us. Like
I feel like that's like it's wise and it makes sense.
Cause I appreciate that. Cause half the time I'm like, I hope they're enjoying what we're doing at least.
I definitely get what you're doing. And it makes a lot of sense. And I love like your authenticity, and I love how in our very first meeting, I hope it's okay to say on this, but I mean, you can edit if it's not, but I love that in the first meeting, you like talked about money and you had like done research and you were like, it's hard to make money. You were like, it takes this many years to even have a hope of people paying us to do the things that we do. But here's why I think we have a shot. And here's what I'm going to do for you guys to see if we can make that happen. It was like, so this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you better be grateful to me because I'm giving you an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a vibe like I can get behind.
I appreciate that. Like, yeah, because again, it was like the whole thing. I'm like, people are excited for it, and in my head, I'm like, do you know how much work needs to happen for us to even be profitable? And I'm like, we might not be profitable for the first 3 years. So
because like that's how things work.
Yeah. So like,
like that's how things work.
I'm still trying to make us create stuff despite the pandemic, because ultimately I think people will buy personalities and then buy into the whole company. Because I think who's doing it? Condé, now was it Bon Appetit? They were doing that. Like it's a what do you call it? YouTube show with the cooking and all that stuff. They're selling personalities that they can get around. Like if you look at Friends, like people love that because everyone had such a unique personality, so to speak. Right. And that's what I'm trying to angle us with the podcast, the reaction videos, and then with the dance videos, here's an angle of how we can potentially present a problem in our voice or how we can dance with a product, which is the whole here's a thing. Like it's for us to share something personal and whatever that may look like. But to me, it's a way for us to show that we can dance with the product. So
things I love about that. You're like fully embracing our ability to create our own shit. Yeah. You're giving like respect to the creativity of your people, which I love. 2, there's like a business like purpose behind it. And then 3, I have a thing that I came up with that the here's the thing would be my friend's brand that he started.
Oh.
So that's going to be my thing. I think. Yeah. So I think that'll be a little more like on the nose of what you're trying to say to potential people who might pay us money.
Yeah.
Because I had like a bunch of ideas that were like comedic and insane. But I feel like that's something that I'm like, okay, I'm tired as fuck in this pandemic. There is no time or space. What is the thing that makes sense? So I think that's the thing that like makes sense to do.
Sick. Yeah. As long as like, whatever you feel good about, that's all that matters to me, as long as you enjoy it. Because, it's different when I say, here's the concept, you have to do what I'm saying. Like now it's like, here's the idea, here, see how you guys interpret it.
Right.
So, and I'm trying to like make it not so corny or try to, I don't know, like for me, I hate one trick ponies. Like it has to have serve multi purposes, like which is this podcast. Not just a podcast. It's going to be mini episodes. It's going to be TikTok videos. It's going to be Instagram posts. So it's going to be and it's going to be something that helps someone in their own journey.
Yeah.
So
it's like
yeah.
coconut oil. You can use coconut oil for anything.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, cool. So let's go into the rapid fire segment. You ready? So continue. Give you 10 questions, and yeah, you're ready.
Okay.
All right. What product would you refuse to promote?
Anything related to Amazon. I hate everyone who's rich.
Fair. What's your favorite song?
Get Your Freak On, Missy Elliott.
Favorite. Okay. What annoys you?
People.
Oh my god. All right. Your greatest achievement?
Finding my own self-worth.
Ooh. I love that. Where would you want to retire?
Somewhere where there's no people, and I'm also on a beach.
Fiji. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I am hot.
Simple. What's your favorite Halloween costume?
I was an ant, and I stuck a pillow up the butt of my skirt, and I was an ant.
You're an ant.
I was an ant. No, I was just an ant. I wore a black dress and just made my butt big.
Okay. What's the longest time you've ever spent in a car?
14 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Driving from Oregon to LA.
Ooh, I want to go. By yourself?
Yeah, you go crazy around hour 12. You talk to yourself a lot around hour 13, and then you just
like
for the last hour.
Straight?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Okay. What fashion trend do you just not get?
Anything related to fashion.
What do you call it? What's your favorite memory? Last question, by the way.
When I was little, I remember I played the piano for the first time, but I couldn't see the keys. And so I was playing like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a wholesome memory. All right, last question, not rapid fire question though. What would you want people to say about you when you're gone?
Oh, she loved everyone. Isn't that interesting? Because I hate people.
Yeah, that just it's kind of like an oxymoron.
But love and hate are not the same, or not opposites. Right, because the opposite of hatred is apathy, or the opposite of love is apathy.
Yeah.
Right? So I think part of why I hate people is like when I'm unable to connect with them. Like I don't understand what they're doing. Or
the sheer amount of disappointment that's stacking up.
So much disappointment.
I feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is. This was a little mini therapy. A little 5% therapy session right there. Not a full sesh. I got to debrief on my own, but that was good. Like that.
That's cool. Yeah. The minute you said it, I'm like, huh. It's like pulling from both sides.
Yeah. I am an oxymoron. I am dramatic. I am all of the yes and all of the no all at once.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's reflective of your upbringing from a conservative Christian and then where you grew up. And it's kind of like you are really a living oxymoron where you can see both sides. You can love and hate at the same time.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I make no sense, but I also make like all the sense.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like there's like how 1 second you're very sweet about talking about DMs, then all of a sudden you're talking about this fool hitting you up on Walmart or hitting you up on Facebook.
Wally Walmart, all right, yeah. Wally Walmart in the truck.
Yeah. All right. So where can people find you, or if you are open to it, where to connect with you?
Yes. People can definitely find me. I'm at Carmas. It's spelled Carmas with ass at the end, 2 S's. That is not my last name. My last name is Carmassi. But my friend made my Instagram because all of my friends have made all of my social media platforms. I have never made a single one on my own. And my friend that made it was like, Carmas.
That's how I remember. I think just like of Catholic, going to mass, but with cars. Carmas.
Oh, or that. Yeah. Like mass. That's totally what you meant. Mass. So that's my Instagram at Carmassi.
And where can people connect with your company?
KidsHopDanceCrew.com.
Sick. And yeah, keep in mind it will change. So everything we just mentioned is going to be everything we mentioned is going to be the links in the description down below. With that, last things you want to share to the audience?
You're fabulous, and tell your girlfriend I say hi. She's prettier than you, but I still ship you guys.
You're talking about my girlfriend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen her?
Yeah.
So pretty.
She's very pretty. I'm grateful for her in every way possible.
Great job.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Oh God. Thank you, Max. I hope if you're listening, I love you. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Remember, Black Lives Matter, and do all the good stuff. Be good to each other. And those of you who are listening, have an amazing day, life, week, month. Do something for yourself. Love yourself.
Take a deep breath for yourself.
Yeah, and appreciate you guys for listening. I love you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Throwing Tantrums. Okay, peace.